estimated that more than 20 million exotic pets are living in homes across the U.S. The popularity of exotic pets has increased rapidly over the last couple of years, and people are opting for exotic pets over the traditional dogs and cats. From the website Arctic.net, entitled The Pros and Cons of Adopting Wild Animals, as of February 2nd, 2016. Animals have always been a passion of mine, and being able to ensure that they're protected is what I've dedicated my life's work to. Exotic animals have been adopted for a wide variety of reasons since the dawn of time. In order to keep a sustainable environment for the animal, an owner has to know proper health care, a good habitat for the animal to reside in, and handling techniques to ensure the safety of the owner and the animal. Let's move on to proper health care. Exotic animals need to be taken to veterinarians frequently, and depending on the type of species, they have to go to a variety of different vets. It's up to the owner to keep track of all these visits to make sure that the animal stays in good condition, and they have to keep in mind that this is going to be costly. An animal is only as good as its diet. All animals have to eat a wide variety of meats and veggies a day, and depending on how large the animal is the more they're going to have to eat. As long as you follow the servings allowed per day, you should be able to make all the food that they need at your house, and you should find it in your local grocery store. For example, an animal that eats meat as part of their diet, if they're not given enough meat a day, they can develop a zinc deficiency, which can become problematic for the animal because zinc creates enzymes, and enzymes promote a healthy immune system. Therefore, if an animal gets a zinc deficiency, then they will be more sick than the average animal. Grooming, nail, and teeth care are also very important for an exotic animal. Grooming, for the most part, is taken care of by the animal, but for birds such as the macaw, you can take them to the veterinarian and they will clip their wings, and that will ensure that they can't fly out of their environment and get lost, and it will make sure that they cannot get injured. Nail trimming is also very important. If the nails get too long on the animal, then it will cause them to have problems when they're walking, and it will become very painful. For big cats such as the Bengal tiger, if you have trees or large stumps in your backyard, they can use those to file their nails down. Most people don't think of this, but dental care is also very important for the animal. Just like people, they can get infections in their teeth, and if it is a problem that has been going on for too long, it can fall out. Their teeth can fall out, and then they will not be able to eat properly. From healthcare to living space, an animal's needs can seem like a handful. In order for an animal to get exercise and feel at home, they are all required by law to have a certain amount of space for them to reside in. The key to featured species wildlife management is to identify the precise habitat requirements of the featured species. From the article Clemson.edu entitled Wildlife and Wildlife Management as of May 2009. Wildlife management of any kind can be called to come out, and they can give you an estimate of how much land you will need for your animal and if your land is even acceptable to have the animal on in the first place. There also needs to be a sufficient amount of shelter, especially if the animal is going to be living outside. It needs to be insulated to keep them warm, and it needs to be sturdy enough to sustain all kinds of weather conditions. Toys are also a necessity when it comes to any animals. Raccoons, wild cats, and skunks, when they play with toys, they like a challenge. So you can get heavy-duty balls that are plastic, and you can put treats in them, and that will give them something to play with. In this picture, it shows one of those balls. It's called a Jolly Ball. You can get them online for them to play with. They usually don't have them in regular pet stores because they are mostly used for exotic animals. For birds, they like sounds, so you can attach bells to any treat or toy that they have, and most of those toys can be found at your local pet store. Playing with your animal isn't the only thing that builds a relationship, but being able to handle them correctly can make or break a relationship also. Careful handling of an animal is key in building trust within the animal and the owner. If the animal is accidentally manhandled, for instance a bird, it can become very fearful and it can result in attack, which can injure the owner and also the animal. Your veterinarian will also be able to help you out with the proper handling techniques. And in this picture, it shows the proper handling for a bird of this size. It is recommended that you do use a towel to cover their wings to keep them down, and you just hold them by the back of their neck on the sides. Using treats that are not part of the animal's diet also creates trust between the owner and the animal. From the article globalwildliferesources.com entitled Global Wildlife Resources Training as of May 5th, 2016. The first handling experience between the animal and the owner is the most important because that is the one that establishes the first impression. And if you do something to make the animal fearful, it will be harder to gain trust thereafter. Now, after hearing all this information, let's recap. Exotic animal owners can be successful owners if they follow the health protocols, have the resources to create a good habitat, and being able to properly handle the animal. An owner has to be able to front the bill for many vet visits, and they have to be able to provide nutritious foods for the animal. But they have to remember that they don't have to do it all alone. There are trainers, wildlife management, and veterinarians that are there to help them in any way that they can. No matter what these animals are used for, rehab purposes, entertainment purposes, all the protocols have to be followed. And if they're not, they can start from fines, and depending on the severity of the broken law, they can go to jail. All in all, protect and love all animals, and the outcome will be worth all the time, effort, and money.